So whether your target is a personal computer, whether it's a server, whether it's a company, or even if it's just a website, all of these systems are actually connected to a network. Literally, when you just connect to the internet, you're connecting to a network because the internet is just a really, really big network. So it is very important that you understand how networks work and how devices communicate with each other before we actually move into the next sections. So this section is actually going to be divided into 3 subsections. In the first subsection, we're going to talk about all of the attacks that you can do before connecting to a network. So you literally just have a computer with a network interface, possibly a Wi-Fi adapter, and we're going to see what can you do now before even connecting to anything. In the second subsection, I'm going to show you how to break Wi-Fi keys and gain access to Wi-Fi networks, whether they use WEP, WPA, or WPA2. Once you have the access, you can move to the third section, which will apply for both Wi-Fi and wired networks. All of the attacks that you'll learn in the third subsection apply whenever you are able to connect to the network, once you're able to gain access to the network. And here is where the real fun starts, because you're going to learn a number of powerful attacks that will allow you to intercept the connections in the network and capture everything sent in it. Not only that, but you'll also be able to modify data as being sent in the air. So you'll be able to control the requests, serve people, take updates, inject evil code into the pages that they load. So everything in the third section will apply for both Wi-Fi and wired networks. Before we start talking about network hacking, you need to have a basic understanding on how networks work. Now we all know that a network usually contains a number of clients connected to each other. And clients usually connect to a network in order to share data or share a resource. A really good example of a resource that we all have connected to networks in order to access is the internet. So we connect to Wi-Fi networks and even wired networks all the time just to access the internet. Now all networks, whether it's Wi-Fi or wired, work on the same principle. They have a device called a server. Now in many cases, for example, in your home network, this server is your router. This is also referred to as an access point. Now this router or server or access point is the only device that has access to the resource. Some of these clients have direct access to the resource, even after connecting to the network. The only way they can access the resource is through the access point. So let's say, for example, you're client number 1 and you connected to your home network over Wi-Fi or over Ethernet, over a cable. And then you opened your browser and you typed google.com. What happens is your computer will send a request to the access point asking for google.com. The access point has access to the resource, which is the internet in this example. So it's going to go and look for google.com, it will receive google.com, and it'll forward that response to your computer. And as a result, you will see the website loading on your browser. So if you actually go to your router at home and look at it, you'll see at the back, it's connected through a cable to the wall. And this is how it's getting its internet access. Therefore, it is the only device in your network that has direct access to the resource and none of your computers. None of the computers connected to the network can access the resource or can access the internet without the router, without the access point. So the only way for all of the connected clients to access the resource is to go through the router. Now, the data is transferred between the clients and the access point as packets. So you can think of all of these arrows as a series of packets being transmitted between the client and the router as requests and responses. Now, in Wi-Fi networks, these packets are transmitted in the air. Therefore, if you have a wireless card and you're within range, you'll be able to capture all of these requests and responses. So basically, you'll be able to see anything that any computer connected to the same network as you does on the internet, because they will have to send all of this data to the access point. And because they're sending this data in the air, because you're in a Wi-Fi network, you'll basically be able to capture these requests and responses, and you'll be able to see the URL. They visit the usernames, the passwords, they enter the chat messages. Anything they do on the internet will be sent as packets, and therefore you'll be able to capture it and analyze it. We'll talk more about how networks work as we go through the course. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like it. Please consider subscribing to my YouTube channel. I want to wish you all the very best. Thank you.